What's up everybody, I'm HoopsandHipHop and I have got a good one for you guys today. Now, to say that Pokemon Sword and Shield have been surrounded by tension and controversy over the past couple of months is probably an understatement, because it has been nothing short of pandemonium ever since it was first revealed that the National Dex isn't going to exist within these games. From there, everything from graphics to 3D models to animations has been criticized to death, and it's left the fan base in a very divided position, to the point where the hype that you can normally expect to feel with the onset of a brand new generation is just not there anymore with Pokemon Sword and Shield. However, with this video, I am hoping to change all of that, or at least combat it, because in the last month or so since we got our last bit of new information about the games, I have been absorbing everything we currently know about these games, from the region to the Pokemon to the characters and so on, and honestly, I have come to the realization that these games are absolutely worth your hype, they're absolutely worth your appreciation, and I honestly believe, all criticisms aside, we are in for a special treat with these titles. So in this video, I am going to be telling you guys why I think Pokemon Sword and Shield deserves the hype. Now, this is not going to be an apologist video by any means, because I'm not trying to refute or illegitimize any criticisms that have been made about the game, and altogether I'm just not going to be focusing on those at all. Rather, I'm going to try and focus on the other side of the coin and look at things about this game that really make it a game that's worth getting hyped about, it makes it a game that's worth being appreciated, and it makes it a game that in all likelihood is going to be a really fun game to play through once we finally get our hands on it. So overall, rather than focus on the negatives and the criticisms of the game, I have decided to try and focus on some of the positives and tell you guys things that I have noticed about the game that have me absolutely hyped for it, even with all of the criticisms it is facing. And maybe after I explain myself a little bit and explain to you guys all of the things that I have noticed when analyzing the information we have, hopefully you guys can be hyped too, and we can bring back a level of excitement for the games that can at least coexist with the feelings of those people that feel these games need to be criticized. With all of that being said though, hopefully that explains enough of what this video is about to avoid some of the inevitable rage in the comments, but either way, why don't we go ahead and just get into it. Alright, so I'm going to be covering 5 specific points about the games in this video that have me absolutely excited and hyped for it, and I'm going to explain why they absolutely deserve to be appreciated and why they deserve the hype as well. And the first point we're going to cover is none other than the Pokémon themselves. Now, we only have a small handful of brand new Pokemon that have been officially revealed that we can actually analyze and critique, but based on the ones that we have seen, this region's Pokemon are proving to be some of the greatest we have ever seen in terms of design, if not possibly the greatest ever when it's all said and done. Now, obviously, Pokemon designs are very much an opinionated topic, but when it comes to the new ones that we have seen for Sword and Shield, they actually have a ton of depth to them in terms of their inspiration, and are also just full of a level of uniqueness and charm that has them becoming some of the best that we have ever seen from any generation, in my humble opinion. One thing that I am really enjoying about the new designs is the level of depth at which each design has. For instance, you have a Pokemon like Wooloo who might look like just a regular sheep Pokemon, but in addition to the fact that it is really cute, it also has a backstory of being revered within the Galar region for the wool it's able to produce, which allows the Galar region to produce a number of different specialty products. And this is reflected in its design with its tapestry-like braids and its very name that comes from the word wool, meaning a sheep's wool, and loom, which is a device that is used to create a number of different fabric-based products. So Wooloo has 2 different inspirations that blend really well together in creating its quality design, and we see this kind of thing happening all throughout the different Galar Pokemon that have been revealed, with examples like Alcremie getting part of its name from the word alchemy, pretty much confirming it's going to evolve into something crazy. You have a Pokemon like Roly-Poly, who's not only a lump of coal, but also gets a lot of its inspiration from trains who use coal as a fuel source, so that provides a lot of potential. And then you have a Pokemon like Duraludon, who's actually established a relationship with another Pokemon in Tyranitar, but it doesn't stop there because the reason why it's established that relationship is because it's actually based on Mechagodzilla to combat Tyranitar's basis in Godzilla, which references the classic movie Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. So there are just all of these extra layers to all of these new Pokemon designs that really make them easy to appreciate, because it's plain to see how much thought and care really did go into making their designs. And yeah, while it might be only my opinion, as someone who pores over Pokemon designs on a daily basis for their job, I would personally say that Galar so far has one of, if not the best sets of regional Pokemon that we've ever seen. Moving on though, the next point I want to talk about are the human characters of Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now, we have been introduced to a few of them, and the thing that I want to get into is, once again, just like the Pokemon, how amazing their designs actually are. Now, it's kind of a different conversation when talking about human character designs versus Pokemon designs, but the human designs we have seen are pretty nice because they're all unique in their own way, and they definitely are memorable and stand out amongst the crowd. You of course have the player characters, which look as great as ever and are even taking the time to reference the Scottish elements of the UK-based Galar region, which I think is a fantastic touch, and you also have really interesting looking characters like Chairman Rose and Oleana, who to say the least definitely have more going on with them than meets the eye. There's also the gym leaders, who all have done a really good job of having a really memorable design that each stand out individually and show their importance as characters, and there's also the fact that there seems to be an alarming number of waifus in this generation with the Pokegirls, if you know what I'm saying, which definitely doesn't hurt either. But the thing that I have noticed the most about the human characters in Pokemon Sword and Shield that has me the most excited is that a lot of them, most of them in fact, have already been confirmed to have established relationships with one another. For example, you've got Professor Magnolia, who is the grandmother to Sonia, her assistant, who was also really good childhood friends with Leon, the champion of the region, who also just so happens to be the bigger brother of Hop, who is your rival as the player character, and he also has a close personal relationship with Chairman Rose, who is the leader of the Galar Pokemon League, and he also has a relationship with Oleana, his assistant, as well. So before we've even seen all of the human characters even revealed, we already have most of them showing that they have established interpersonal relationships with one another, and while this has happened in other Pokemon games, obviously, it really doesn't happen that often. You have some characters that have relationships with one another, but for the most part, most of the important characters within Pokemon games kind of keep to themselves and don't really interact with one another all too much. So to already see this kind of level of interconnectivity between the characters to the point where there's this kind of web of relationships between them, and we've only really had 2 trailers worth of human characters revealed, is very exciting in terms of the overall possible story of the game, the plot of the game, how it could potentially build up, how deep this game could actually get. It's just very, very encouraging and exciting to see these kind of relationships being established before the game is even launched, because I personally think it can only mean good things overall for this game's story. And speaking of the story, that is the third bullet point I want to talk about here, because I think this game is actually shaping up to have a very good story. In most Pokemon games, you have 2 main pillars that kind of drive the game forward. You have your main goal as the player character of completing the gym challenge and becoming the champion, and then you have the story side where you're trying to deal with the evil team and stop the antagonist at the same time. The interesting thing though about Pokemon Sword and Shield is that it looks like it might be actually unifying these 2 pillars of what we've come to expect from Pokemon games into one big massive plot, where the gym challenge is actually the focus of the antagonists, and you're going to kind of be dealing with both of them at the same time. I always hear everyone talking about how they love when the gym leaders actually take a role in the story outside of just being in their gym and doing nothing else, and I think this game is going to do that bigger and better than we have ever seen, because if the antagonist is indeed involved with the gym challenge, you probably can guess that the gym leaders are going to have something to do with the plot in one way or another. Maybe they side with the evil team leader and are kind of in cahoots with him, or maybe they help you fight against them. I think there is no doubt whatsoever, if the plot ends up like this, which is likely, that the gym leaders are going to have something to do with it, which is very encouraging and is something that a lot of fans have wanted to see for a very long time. Next up though, I want to talk about the region of this game. Now, this bullet point is probably the most self-explanatory of all of them, but the region alone has me extremely excited for Pokemon Sword and Shield. The fact that the UK is the inspiration for the Galar region has me extremely excited because of the fact that the UK has so much culture, history, and beautiful geography to it that's going to afford an absolutely beautiful world to adventure through within Pokemon Sword and Shield. I mean, regardless of what you think about the graphics, we've already seen plenty of great examples of this in just the couple of trailers we have access to. We've seen the beautiful rolling hills that the UK is known for. We've seen the rustic cities and towns that are going to be a joy to explore thanks to the culture and history they provide. And we've even seen the wide open plains of the wild area that's going to be fantastic to play through thanks to the fact that it's basically an open world area within a Pokemon game. We've also seen a ton of diversity within that landscape as well, that overall I think is just going to be a joy to walk through, let alone actually get to catch Pokemon in. As I've said before, the UK already has such a distinct culture within our own world that makes it perfect to be able to explore in a video game. And when you inject that into the Pokemon world, I honestly think that's going to be a match made in heaven that's truly going to provide an amazing experience to play through, and it's going to provide for a great world to have a Pokemon adventure in. And last but not least, the final bullet point I want to talk about that has me so hyped for these games kind of goes along with the region aspect we just talked about, and that would be the atmosphere that these games are going to bring along with them. Obviously, playing in a region based on the UK is going to bring about a certain flavor to it, and that flavor is going to be very distinct and noticeable, and I think that is exciting enough on its own. But there's also a number of other things that are just going to make the atmosphere of this game something that you will be able to feel as the player as you're playing, and not just have to look at and observe. For example, we've already seen that there is a huge scope and sense of scale to this game that we have never ever seen within a Pokemon game, and that alone is going to be very noticeable, and you're going to be able to feel it when you play the game, and that's going to make for a great experience. All of the different areas of the game just feel bigger and more real than we have ever seen before, with once again a wide variety of very unique locations, and what's going to accompany these locations and every bit a part of the game is orchestrated music, and you know that Pokemon music is always fantastic, so to have it orchestrated is just going to immerse you in the game that much more. Aside from Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, this is really going to be the very first time in at least a main series Pokemon game that we have had truly orchestrated music, and that music is going to once again benefit from the fact that the UK is the setting for this game, and we're going to have a number of different folk-like elements to the soundtrack that only the UK can provide, including but not limited to bagpipes, which we have already heard to a degree here and there within the soundtrack. And while I can only speak for myself here, just the simple fact that we can even say at all that bagpipes are going to be in the soundtrack of a Pokemon game already has me excited before I've even really heard what that kind of music in a Pokemon game is capable of, and I just really feel like that type of music combined with all of the different visuals that are going to be present in this game is just going to bring about a level of immersion to it that's really going to be felt rather than simply seen on the screen, and I think it's just going to be very noticeable and extremely enjoyable once we all get our own hands on the games, can see it all with our own eyes, and are able to jump into the world of the Galar region for ourselves. So there you have it, everybody. That is why I believe Pokemon Sword and Shield absolutely deserves your hype and appreciation. Now, once again, this is not to discount any concerns you may or may not have about the game, but frankly, this isn't the place where I'm trying to discuss those things. I'm just trying to bring out the positive aspects of this game that really deserve not to be overshadowed by this negativity and really deserve appreciation, because they really are awesome, and I really do think it's going to make for a special treat once we actually get to play the games for ourselves and decide for ourselves what we really think of it from a first-hand experience. If you guys enjoyed the video though, be sure to give it a like, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of discussion in the comments below. That is absolutely fine, but once again, just remember, we're not trying to refute or illegitimize any concerns. I'm just trying to bring out the positive aspects of the game, because that's what I love to do on this channel. I love to bring about positivity, and hopefully you guys can enjoy what we've talked about, and hopefully it makes you excited for the games as well. If you're new to the channel though, be sure to subscribe for more Pokemon content every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Check me out on Spotify as well. That supports the channel. It's greatly appreciated. And with all that being said, I will be back on Thursday with another video, so be sure to hit that notification bell as well so you can be notified as soon as it goes live. As always though, I hope you know I love you guys, and until the next one, as always, I will smell you guys later.